Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We are so pleased to have in the studio with us today our friends from the Foundation for Developmental Disabilities, and we got Sitara Sethi. She is the CEO. How are you doing this, Sitara?
I'm doing good. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. Absolutely. Joined by your colleague, Jill Weber, Development Manager for the Foundation for Developmental Disabilities. How long have you been with the organization, Jill?
About 7 months.
So you're a veteran, very, very good. And Sitara, how long have you been?
I've been around 6 years.
About 6 years? Yeah. Okay, very good. Joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She is the Executive Director of San Diego Riders, Inc. They're celebrating their 20th anniversary this year in Liberty Station. How are things going with all the events and the plans and more to come?
They're going well. Yeah, we're thinking about doing a Pride event coming up in July, and then our big whoop-de-doo for our anniversary in October. So we just keep stacking the events on, which is wonderful.
Now, do you have a date for the big shindig in October?
I don't. I know it'll be in October. I know that it'll be at the Light Box at Liberty Station.
Oh, nice.
So at our neighbor's place, since we're also in Liberty Station. But
right.
That's all I know so far.
Well, good. We'll make sure we'll shout that out over there. I know you want to start it off with a question for Sitara.
Yeah, Sitara, we'd just like to get into what the mission of the organization is.
Sure. So the Foundation for Developmental Disabilities, our mission is to empower people with developmental disabilities to lead more satisfying lives. And we do that through different things. So we kind of are a funding organization. So we provide grants to organizations in San Diego, like Noah Homes, like St. Madeline's, for their programs. But we also directly support clients at the San Diego Regional Center and give them money for emergencies, like if they can't pay their rent, if their deposit is due and they need to get off the streets. So we help them with those as well to make sure that they can stay in their homes. And one of the big things we do every few years when we save up enough money and we get enough money is we do affordable housing development. So we've given over $750,000 for one affordable housing development. Most recently, last year, we gave Merca Investments $500,000 for affordable housing development in Chula Vista. And what makes us unique is we say when we give you the money, not only is it going to be affordable housing, but it's going to be affordable housing for people with developmental disabilities. Because most often they fall under the general category of affordable housing. A lot of times they have needs like they need walk-in showers, they need more, they need to be on first floor apartments, all of those kind of things. So we make sure that those units are set aside for them. And that's kind of an overall mission.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And affordable housing, across the board obviously is so important. But for those with developmental disabilities and have specific needs as well, I mean, obviously, that's great. Can you just talk about a little bit what the San Diego Regional Center is?
Sure. So the San Diego Regional Center is actually the largest nonprofit in San Diego. And most people don't even know about it unless you actually have to use their services and then you know about it.
Okay.
So they are state funded. So they get all their money from the state and they provide all services for people with developmental disabilities. So from the time you get diagnosed, you come in and they help you through the whole process. They make sure that you get all the therapies you need. They make sure they vendor with many different organizations. And so they make sure you get all your therapies. They make sure you get all your day programs. They make sure that you're taken care of basically throughout the whole period that you're with them. And then when you age out the system, now they do have different services that they kind of try to help you with. But they're just the largest provider of services for this population. So anybody who does work in this community has definitely heard of them because they are big.
Oh yeah, they're humongous, and the touch points they have in this very complicated world of dealing with folks with developmental disabilities is huge, and they really make it as easy as possible to do that. Jill, how long have you been involved in the space of folks with developmental disabilities?
With this role, about 7 months.
Okay.
Prior to this,
Right.
I worked in Seattle. and worked with developmental disabilities up there as well.
Right. So what got you to be so passionate about this group?
Oh man, there's so many different reasons. I think it's one of the most underserved groups in the area, and they have so many different ways that we can focus and help.
Right.
And so I just really think that the more we can do to help, the better.
Right. There's no question about it. And I think what's cool about it, one of the groups that we have on quite a bit, they were on, I think they're last week, Kristen, is called Riding Above Disabilities. Are you familiar with them?
Yes, we've heard of them.
They're phenomenal. So they work with kids that are on, some of these kids aren't kids anymore, on the spectrum, and they ride horses. And so we've had a lot of fun, Kristen and I, because we bring in some of those students, and you can tell they're on the spectrum, they're having fun, but to see the pride that they come out when they come on. I've been on a podcast. I've been doing this, and it gives them so much confidence. Talk about how important it is part of what you folks do.
I mean, it's incredible. Just last week, actually, we went to Gigi. She went to Gigi's Playhouse to give them the check because we had just given them a grant. And they had one of their participants there. And he was so excited that our money was going to help their programs continue. And he had like a bouquet of flowers that he gave her. And he had a big smile. And he was so passionate about, their little space and whatever they were doing there and showing her everything. And we just loved that. And that's one of the reasons we try our best to kind of fund the smaller organizations. We do give St. Madeline's, we do give the big organizations, but we have really small organizations that are usually started by a mom who just decided, oh my goodness, there's no services for my kid, and I want my kid to be able to do X, Y, and Z. And so they come to us, and we usually help them write the grant. So we want to make sure that they get it, because we do have a board that goes through the whole thing. So they write the grant, we help them, and then when we actually take a chance on them, it's incredible to hear the impact of our funds and how those organizations, most people would not fund them because they're not true and tested. They don't have huge programs. They don't have like a PR. They don't have a grant writer. And we love funding those organizations.
Well, yeah, and those things make such a big difference. We're chatting with Sitara Sethi. She is the CEO of the Foundation for Developmental Disabilities, joined by her colleague, Jill Weber, the development manager for the organization. I'm Drew Schlosberg. As you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, we are the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for 6 decades, just doing phenomenal things for people living in San Diego County, joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel, Executive Director of San Diego Writers, Inc. The myth, one of these days, I hope I'm alive when this myth gets really debunked for good. And we say this all the time when Kristen and I have on folks in the mental health area. One of these days, we'll be looking at that as that, why are we talking about that? That's an issue, we got to deal with it. And the same thing with folks that have developmental disabilities. They have a lot to give to society. You guys know that. It oozes out of you. Tell me we're making some progress in letting people know about the value of these people.
I think we definitely are. I think right now where we are, as opposed to even when I joined 5-6 years ago, I can see the change. I can see the acceptance, mostly because there's so much awareness now, especially about autism, right? Mm-hmm. It's become pretty mainstream. People talk about it, and there's a lot more help. There's a lot more services available. There are a lot more organizations doing super cool things. Like Outside the Lens is one of the organizations we support, and they do multimedia training for kids and adults who want to get into it, teach them how to do Photoshop, teach them how to, and now we just paid for them to do virtual reality.
That's
so they're
fantastic.
going to teach them how to create things in virtual reality, whether they want to be game designers, whether they want to do all of those things. So there's just so much more that they can do now than they could 5-6 years ago because of these incredible programs.
Exactly. Kristen?
Yeah. Outside the Lens is one of our partners too. So we're pleased to offer their camps for several weeks at San Diego Writers Inc. So they're wonderful. I wondered if you could talk about what Day at the Races is, one or both of you. Yeah, Jill.
Sure. It's our new event that's coming up in August.
Cool.
We hold it every year. The great thing about it is that all the money raised goes to our help fund, which Sitara mentioned a little bit. The help fund helps clients of the San Diego Regional Center with things like rental assistance, utilities, really emergency things that's really, really needed. But the great thing is it'll be on August 29th this year at Del Mar. And our tickets are on sale. You can go to our website and purchase tickets. We also have great sponsorship opportunities. So if anybody would like to sponsor, we're always looking for that. It's going to be a really, really great day, but all of the proceeds will go to our help fund to help clients of the regional center. So I'm really excited about it, and I hope that everyone can join us.
Right. Jill, you can answer this and then tee it over to Sitara. How closely do you work with the schools? Do you work a lot with the K-12 schools, districts at all, with folks who have some developmental challenges or not?
We work a little bit with them. We just funded a school program in Imperial County.
Nice.
And we funded them for one of their outreach programs where they work with some of the kids through some of their development, and so they can mentor other students in the program. So that's one of the ways we work. And Sitara probably has other historical data.
I think the main way we work with schools is usually there are teachers in the school, special ed teachers who like to do the Circle of Friends program, which is a small program where they basically try to integrate kids who are on the spectrum and buddy them up with other kids, and do like activities together and all of that. So those we have funded quite a few of those in the past, where the teacher comes to us and says, "Hey, I want to start a Circle of Friends program. Would you be interested in funding?" And we just funded the one in Imperial. So we've been trying to expand our funding to Imperial. As you guys probably know, it's very underserved.
It is.
It's a very tight-knit community. It's really hard to even get in there, get fund. But we've been trying to expand our services as much as we can to give funding in that area because there is a lot of need there.
Yeah. When we come back from break, I know Kristen's going to ask a question about scholarship programs and all that business. And then, as we always do, Sitara and Jill, we always save time for what our listeners can do to support your efforts. Can they volunteer? Can they donate? Money doesn't grow on trees, last time I checked, in this area, or in any aspect in that. When we return with our friends from Foundation for Developmental Disabilities, Sitara Sethi, she is the CEO, joined by her development manager, Jill Weber. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. For 60 years, have been doing great things for people living in San Diego County. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. For more than 60 years, have been really uplifting so many folks that live in San Diego County with literacy programs, with homeless programs, you name it. Mission Fed is involved, joined by Sitara Sethi, CEO of the Foundation for Developmental Disabilities, joined by her development manager, Jill Weber, and I'm joined by my very, very cool co-host, Kristen Fogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc., now celebrating their 20th anniversary in Liberty Station. Kristen.
So cool. So very, very cool. I wonder if we could talk a little bit about the employment and job development programs that you have and how you support folks through your efforts.
Sure. Do you want to?
One really cool thing we just did yesterday is you'd mentioned schools. We went to a program. It's called Kitchen Table Academy, and they partner with the Poway Unified School District. And we attended a kind of a kickoff, if you will, yesterday at the Poway School District. And what's really, really cool is they worked with Ryan Bros Coffee, and they are teaching kids in the program, Kitchen Table, about job skills, career paths. And they have a coffee shop set up. And then every Thursday, they're inviting the community to come in, purchase coffee. So what it is giving kids an opportunity to learn those skills in people, hospitality, money, and things like that. So was really great to see yesterday, and how they partnered with outside organizations. And then we're able to support that organization for job skills and career paths.
Very cool.
Yeah, my daughter teaches in the Poway Unified School District at Chaparral Elementary. I'll mention that to her as well in that area. So, talk about some of the scholarships that you folks offer.
Sure. So every year we have a scholarship program where we give out around $40,000, and it's called the Peterson Scholarship because it's actually named after the first executive director of the regional center, Dr. Peterson, who's still very much alive, and he still helps us with our scholarships every year. So it's great to still have him with us. And what we do is we send out the application to everybody. It's for people who want to study to become social workers, do psychology, anything to do with learning disabilities, anything to do with anything that they would come back and work in this field. We do undergraduates, we do graduates, we give a lot of scholarships to people who are working but want to continue, like they have a bachelor's degree and they're working as service coordinators, but now they want to become program managers and they need a master's degree. So our scholarships are anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000 per student. And we just gave the latest, I think we gave 15 students, and they're just getting the letters today that they've been accepted. So we're excited.
Congratulations, everyone. Yay.
And the only criteria is they have to be studying, living in San Diego.
Right.
They could be doing online school somewhere else, but they have to be living here in San Diego or Imperial.
Right. Do you work, we just had our good friends from National University on, and frequent guests, and their touch point is you pick a topic, and I guarantee you're going to fall into it. Do you work with groups like that at all?
So we've given a lot of kids scholarships at National University,
actually.
National University is a big one. SDSU, obviously, is a big one. UCSD, a little bit.
Right.
National University and SDSU is the biggest ones that we give the scholarships out to.
Yeah, they're just, all the universities do a good job on this, but NU just seems to be just right in this wheelhouse of yours, to say the least, in this area. So, what can our listeners do to support your efforts? Obviously, go to the day of the races. That would be nice, August 29. But what else? Donations, volunteering, other things they can do?
I think donations are a big thing. Other than the day of the races, we actually also have a big one called Season of Sharing in December.
Yep.
And that's when we collect gift cards to give to the regional center families during the holiday season, because a lot of times they just, they have their kids, they have doctor's appointments, they have rent, utilities, everything is so expensive. So we try to give them gift cards that they can hopefully use for their holiday shopping.
Right.
And so we obviously collect donations for that as well. But like Jill had mentioned, Day of the Races is a big one because it goes back right into the help fund. And last year we had budgeted $250 for the help fund, $250,000, and we landed up having to give out $350,000 because we just cannot say no to some of these people. So we try to get the money from wherever we can, but if you guys can donate, that's the best way to help us. In terms of volunteering, we ourselves don't, but all our partners we work with and all their names are on the website.
Nice.
We're always looking for volunteers. So, whether it's Noah Homes, whether it's St. Madeline's, whether it's Options for All, they all need volunteers. And we would love for them to have more volunteers so that they can do more of the incredible things that they do as well.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on this, and I'll ask this question of you, Sitara, and you can jump in on it, Jill, as well. While you're just 7 months down here, you'd certainly experience this up north on this. It seems to me that you folks that are in this space are pretty tight-knit, and maybe there's healthy competition, but the bottom line is you're helping someone that's got a developmental disability. Talk about how close-knit this organizations are Noah Holmes, St. Mads, Terry, Options for All, everybody in between.
Yeah, it's incredible. We just had our grantee showcase last month where we got together all our grantees that we'd given grants to the last year. And it was so incredible to see these organizations who, small, big, who sometimes have never met each other, but they were collaborating, they were getting together, they were saying, hey, can we do this together? Can we send our folks to you? So it is really small. There are a lot of organizations, but there's the need for a lot of organizations, but everybody works so closely together. So it's incredible to see. And the regional center is so supportive as well. We had them at the grantee showcase, and they were able to talk to a bunch of organizations saying, hey, you know what, we can help you with that. We have the funding for that. Why don't you just come to us? So it's incredible to see how everybody works together.
Well, and you both know this as well, and this is why we've been doing this show for 18 years. I think sometimes you get a little frustrated when you have a guest on and go, oh, I didn't realize that service was available to me. Yeah. Fill in the blank, whether it's someone.
All the time.
You hear this all the time. You mean to tell me I could have just picked up the phone 5 years ago and asked, and we've got, the foundation.
I do that on the show all the time. I'm always like, oh my gosh, if my friend had known about such and such. Constantly.
And that's why they do this. Is this group, are we finding, because there's so much attention on autism and folks on the spectrum and all that, and maybe they're just discovering more in this area, is it growing? Is it decreasing? Is it maintaining? Talk about this.
I think it's definitely growing.
Yeah.
There seems to be a lot more awareness. And so there's a lot more people who are getting diagnosed earlier than they would have before.
That's right.
Which is always great because they can start getting the services earlier, and then they're more able to live longer, healthier lives, happier lives.
100%.
So it's definitely increasing. The number of clients we see for our help fund, it's just growing exponentially, the amount we have to give out. And it's great because I think there's always been so many people. They didn't magically just show up.
Right.
It's just that
now we know.
It's just now that there's more awareness and there's more education.
Well, and you think about it, again, we've had so many people on in this space over the last 18 years, and nothing's more heartbreaking when you have a parent that, my kid has some challenges, and now his or she's ostracized because people are just, human beings can be very rude, to say the least. I'm being very nice. I'm being FCC compliant. Let me just put that way over here. And to know they have support. And they're folks that love these kids and love, and now they're adults as well in this area, is so important. And that's where we hope we get to the point where it does not look as a stigma. And and thanks to you and the folks like Noah Holmes and St. Mads and all that, how do we get people to that area?
I think we already have. I feel like
that's good to hear.
Just yesterday when Jill and I were at the Kitchen Table Academy, we saw so many people walking in to come and get coffee. And I know some of them wanted coffee, but some of them just came to support the program, right? And it was incredible to see how excited all the folks were there, just handing the coffee, putting the ice, and to see how appreciated they felt by just random strangers coming in, wanting to get coffee and wanting to support the effort. And every time we go to we went to some rallies, every time we go to different things, we see there's so many folks there who don't really have a personal connection to this space. They don't have a family member. They don't have anybody, but they just feel like, hey, we want to be involved. We want to help the population. We want to be able to support the population. So I think there is definitely it's a positive change.
Yeah. Well, again, I mentioned Writing Above Disability. Kristen and I love having those folks on. Ali Sanatero is the CEO, and they bring in the folks that certainly are riding on these horses and all that. It's just your heart just warms in 5 seconds, and you almost want to expose so many people that have never been in this space, whether they have a connection or not, to say, if you can't walk away smiling from that and feel good about doing it, then we're going to check you in to make sure you have a heart that's beating.
But also too, I think that is so heartwarming because it's like, it's just horseback riding. It's just horses, but it means so much to these kids and these young adults. And I think too, it goes back to you all as well, just the power of supporting small foundations, small organizations, like little things like that make a huge difference in these people's lives. So I think if you really want to see impact in your community, support some of the small foundations, support some of the small organizations, because they're doing such good work.
Well, and that's one really great thing about donating to the foundation is your donation is going somewhere. 100% of what you donate is going to our help fund, going to other programs that we support. So since we are a 501c3 nonprofit, you get a tax write-off, but you also know that your money that you're donating is going toward a good cause.
Yeah.
And so that, to me, is a really worthwhile, just knowing that you're doing and making a difference in your community and raising awareness for others too.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up here, is there anything else we can do to support your efforts? And please shout out the website so everyone can find you.
All right. Our website is www.foundationfordd.org. You can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn. And if just support us, share whatever you see on our social media posts, all of that would be great. And any donations, and attend our Day at the Races. It's an incredible event. It sells out really quickly though, because we do have a space that we have to fill. But it's a great way to support the community, meet other people who are involved in the space, and it's just a fun day.
Again, August 29, and we'll certainly have you folks back in to talk about the December event as it gets close to that as well. And we always make this offer is we don't want to break any HIPAA laws. We don't want to break any privacy laws. However, we have groups that love to bring in folks that have benefited from your services. So please, next time you're in, think about who you want to have. Kristen and I, just warms our hearts when the parents of these kids who are in the spectrum come in to talk about writing about disability. You'll see them on the side over here, and they are just so proud of their kid getting some attention, and they're so proud of what they say and how they do this. We'd love to have you do the same.
Definitely. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, where the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for 6 decades, doing great things for organizations in San Diego County. I'm honored to chat with Sitara Sethi. She is Sitara Sethi, the CEO of Foundation for Developmental Disabilities, joined by her colleague Jill Weber, the development manager. As always, Kristen Fogel, thank you for being the co-host, and we hope everybody enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.